Good morning, fourth grade online learners. Welcome to another day of science, and we are continuing to learn about how rocks form. And we talked about Earth's layers, and lots of vocabulary this week, guys. Look in the yellow box. Those are all in your study guide. They're all in your book. Words like core, crust, igneous rock, mantle, metamorphic rock, mineral, rock cycle, rock, sedimentary rock, and sediment. Those are all in your study guide, and I was just checking to make sure the timer's ticking because yesterday we got into this video and it was not recording. So C7 has words like mantle and core on it if you have your book at home. All those words on those pages are in yellow throughout your book. Igneous rock, sedimentary rock, sediment, metamorphic rock, all on pages C8 and C9, and then some good examples of the rock cycle on C10. So that's all there for you guys to be ready for tomorrow. The biggest thing you can do if you don't have your book is study your study guide. Now in school we have this chart that we're using, but you really don't need it. This is just extra practice. What you really need is this, which is on Google Classroom, your study guide. Back to this one, all that is a chart that says there's three types of rock: igneous rock, sedimentary rock, and metamorphic rock. And you just describe them. And then it says as molten rock cools and hardens, the minerals in it form crystals. Breaking rock into sediments is called weathering. Sediment is carried by wind, water, and moving ice. Both igneous and sedimentary rocks can be changed to metamorphic rock. And the rock cycle is in the continuous series of changes that rocks go through. So that's the page you're missing, but it's not a big deal, guys. More important is the study guide that's on Google Classroom. The core is the innermost layer of the earth. Easy to remember, apple core is in the center of the apple. The outer layer of the earth is the crust, kind of like pizza. Igneous rock forms when melted rock from inside the mantle cools and hardens. That might be hard to remember, so study that one. Mantle is the thick layer of rock between Earth's crust and core. Metamorphic rock is new rock that forms when existing rocks are changed by heat, pressure, or chemicals. Mineral is a solid material that has a definite chemical makeup. The rock cycle, the changing of one kind of rock into another kind of rock. A rock is a solid material made up of one or more minerals. Sedimentary rock forms when sand, particles of rock, bits of soil, and the remains of once living things harden. Sediment, the sand, particles of rock, bits of soil, and remains of once living things. The main ideas: the rock cycle goes on forever. There are three basic types of rocks: igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary. Melting can change rocks into igneous rocks. Igneous rock forms when melted rock cools and hardens. Metamorphic rock can become sedimentary rock through weathering. Metamorphic rock forms when chemicals, pressure, or heat change existing rock. So there's three types of rock, guys, but then they can all change into the other kind of rocks through different processes, weathering and heat and different things. Nicholas.
Also, sediment means pebbles.
Sediment means what?
Pebbles.
Sediment could have pebbles in it too. Is that what you're saying? And even those pebbles can get broken down even more. And it doesn't happen overnight, guys. It takes hundreds, maybe thousands of years for things to get broken down.
Can you finish your journal early?
If you want to do your journal for tomorrow, you can. But tomorrow you have a quiz. So when you leave on Thursday, you should have Tuesday's journal, Wednesday, and Thursday's journal done, and then you have Friday off. Eden.
No, that was Thursday.
Yep, Friday off. Everything should be done by Friday. So this is a good change of pace for us in science. We're now talking about earth science. We got away from life science. But it depends on what you're interested in, guys. There's all kind of science for all kind of people. So So, study hard, get your test done, and with the multiple choice, guys, fill the words in the blank. If they don't make sense, don't use them. And often, like, I'll use a word from the sentence to fill in the blank. Like, sand is made of sand. That doesn't make sense. But if I say sedimentary rock can become sand, that makes sense. So, some of the answers, just if you put them in there, they're going to sound funny. And if they sound funny, don't use them. All right. Hopefully you have your book. If you don't have your book, you just need your study guide and the websites. The websites really help too. They reinforce what we're learning. If you get done early, scroll down past all the categories, go to MOSA Mac, and there's a video about volcanoes, and it's somewhat related to what we're learning about. So watch that and enjoy that. We may purchase that program.
Yep. Igneous comes from volcanoes.
Okay, good. Nicholas says igneous comes from volcanoes. Okay, let me just take a look. And we have enough time, a little bit short of some days that when we're making videos, but we still have enough information here. And you have enough at home with your study guides, your websites, your book if you have it. Take your time with the quiz. Don't be intimidated, but try each answer, because you might say, oh, that term makes sense, but guess what? It might make sense, just not in that question. You know, it might make sense in a different question. So you might think, oh, sedimentary rock, we've been learning about that. Pick that right away. But meanwhile, I'm talking about metamorphic rock, and you pick sedimentary. So make sure, if you're not sure, maybe go back, look over your study guide, and then close that window out and give it a try again, okay? If you get below a 7 out of 10, request a retest. All right, online learners, you know who you are. You know who your brothers are. You tell them I said hi. Tell your sisters too, and your mom and dad, and anybody. Heck, tell everybody. Say, Mr. Monzo said hi. Tell strangers in the store if you want. All right, see you tomorrow.